The first skill that we're going to review is finding the least common denominator. So you're going to need this skill when you have to add or subtract, but you're not going to actually add or subtract the fractions. We're going to just make sure that we have the least common denominator. So we have 3 fractions here. We got to make sure that they all have the same denominator. So you can see I don't even care about the numerator at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each one and make sure that they all have the same numbers and the same amount of variables and all that, okay? So I'm going to just add what I need. So I'm going to look at the far left, and I'm going to notice, the far right, and I'm going to notice that everything needs a 2. So I'm going to just put it on, okay? So they all have a 2, they're all common that way. Notice they all have an x, but this first one has an extra x, so I'm going to change them to x squared. So now they're all 2x squared. And then the first one has a y squared, so I'm going to need a y squared. And I already have one y, so I'm going to need a y squared. So now I can see they're all the same, so that is the least common denominator. 2x squared, y squared. That's what I'd want to have. Okay, now we're going to have, what we do to the bottom we'll have to do to the top, but we're not worrying about that right now. We're just saying, what would I need to produce to have the least common denominator? Okay? All right, so over here, same idea. We've got to find the least common denominator. So what we want to do is we want to first see what makes up these things. So we're going to factor to see what produces these. So I got to do Glasses method or A times C or box method, whatever your favorite factoring method is. So I do 3 times 2 and I get 6. And I got to figure out numbers that multiply to give me 6, but add to give me 7. And there it is, 1 times 6, right? Obviously not 2 plus 3, that gives me 5. Okay, so then I'm going to rewrite it, 3x squared plus x plus 6x plus 2. And then I'm going to factor, GCF factor out of that first part, 3x plus 1. And then GCF factor the second part, which will give me 3x plus 1. So I'm going to have 3x plus 1 times x plus 2. So that will be replacing what I just crossed off. So now we're going to take a look at this one. So same thing. This time I got to see what multiplies to give me -6, but adds to give me -5. So I have -2 times 3, which just adds to give me 1. -3 times 2 gives me -1. So -6 times 1 gives me -5. So same idea, 3x squared minus 6x plus x, right? 1x minus 2. And then pull out the GCF. And then x minus 2 doesn't have a GCF. So I have 3x plus 1, x minus 2. All right, so kind of ugly, so I'm going to rewrite it. I don't care what's in the numerator because we're just finding the least common denominator. So I'm not even going to rewrite it. Okay, so then I go through and I analyze. You're on both of the fractions, so sweet. Okay, you are not, so I'm going to make sure that you are there. And then you're not, so I'm also going to make sure you are there. So the least common denominator is x minus 2, 3x plus 1, and x plus 2.